Hey kids, it's Quantum Earth here. We're gonna build a Golgari Midrange deck using only cards that you get from unlocking the 10 free decks on Arena. And the deck list I'm going to be using is linked in the video description. So we're not going to use any wild cards right now. We're just going to use cards that come from the 10 dual colored freebies that you can unlock as part of the new player experience when you make your new account. The core of this list is Maxwell Jones' first place list from SCG Standard Classic Dallas. And obviously he's using really solid cards that we don't have access to. So I tried to find cards that had a similar function at a similar CMC and proxy those into the deck. And we can slowly build our collection and build up towards the full version of the deck. So we're just going to start throwing some cards in here now. Okay, so we've got the deck built here. And we'll go through each card and kind of explain why it's here. So Llanowar Elves is in the original deck, so we'll definitely leave that in there. I got one Dire Fleet Poisoner in place of the third Ravenous Chupacabra. Doomed Dissenter I'm using in place of Merfolk Branchwalker, mainly just because it gives us 3 power over 2 bodies. It doesn't give us the Explore trigger, but it still gives us equivalent amount of power. Kite Sail Freebooter I put in here. Basically, there's Duresses in the sideboard, but I wanted some flying in the main deck, so this kind of covers both of those roles. Druid of the Cowl is in here in place of Wild Growth Walker. It's a 1/3 blocker early, makes mana that ramps this, so it's not quite the same as Wild Growth Walker, but it'll be useful for us. Kind of fills in some of the gaps we're missing from all that Explore we don't have. Thorn Lieutenant is another card that we put in for Wild Growth Walker. Deathbloom Thallid is our makeshift Jadelight Ranger, and again, it's because it gives us 4 power over 2 bodies. Of course, it also doesn't Explore, but we got what we got. Murder is the poor man's Assassin's Trophy, but it doesn't give us a Naturalize effect. And actually, there is no Naturalize effect that I could find in any of the free cards. So I think Assassin's Trophy or one of the Planeswalkers is going to be a important early craft for us. Skymarch Bloodletter I put in here, again, just as a flying, evasive way to push damage through. We did have 1 copy of Jadelight Ranger, which stays in the final version of the deck. We don't have Doom Whisperer, so we've got Demon of Catastrophes. It doesn't give us the broken Surveil ability, but it's still a pretty big flyer, so we'll use it. We don't have Golgari Find Broker, but we have Gravedigger. So the Find Broker will be more important once we start crafting our Planeswalkers, because the Find Broker can grab any permanent out of the graveyard. Gravedigger can only get creatures. We had 1 Chupacabra available here. Actually, we have 2 copies of this card. So why aren't we running them? We can cut a Murder for a Chupacabra. So we'll go ahead and do that. Or maybe I opened one in a pack. I'll have to double check. We've got a Twilight Prophet. It's another one of our Doom Whisperers that we don't have, so we'll use that instead. I love this card anyway, so I'm happy to have it in here. We have 1 Vraska's Contempt. It's in the board of the original deck, but might as well run it in our main deck. I threw a Poison Tip Archer in here since we have so many creatures that die into other creatures. I thought we might get some value off of this card. It's not necessary. I used to have more Saprolings in here and then I cut them, so maybe this is a good card to cut for. Maybe we could cut it for the Choop. Vampire Sovereign is another flying threat. It drains life, so it's got a little bit of reach off the top of the deck at the end of the game. And then Gravewaker, it's a 6 mana 5/5 flyer. 7 mana might be attainable with our ramp, but mainly it's just here as a big finisher. I don't love it, so it might not last very long. And then we don't have the dual lands. We have 1 copy of Woodland Cemetery, but obviously as we get the rare duals, we'll replace the slow lands here. So in the sideboard is some of our fun stuff. I have a couple copies of Costly Plunder, not in the original deck, but since we have so many creatures that we can sack and they will replace themselves with another body, I thought maybe we would run this, since we will probably be chump blocking. Reassembling Skeleton for the same reason. It keeps coming back and continuously chump blocks. Vicious Offering is like Moment of Craving. It doesn't give us life, which is a benefit to Moment of Craving, but it's what we've got, so I thought I would test it in the sideboard here. Ravenous Harpy is just a flying threat. I only have 1 copy in here. I don't think it will be super good for us, but I'm not sure. Elvish Rejuvenator kind of emulates one of Vivian Reed's abilities, so I thought we would have that on hand in our sideboard. Slimefoot just gives us some late game value with a Saproling making ability. Rite of Belzenlock, it's a rare, so I thought we might as well keep it close at hand. Path of Discovery gives us our only real way to explore with our card pool. Open the Graves, since we do have a lot of creatures dying, I thought this might be useful, and it sort of emulates Vraska Relic Seeker's plus ability, where she makes a 2/2 token. Tendershoot Dryad's just a great card I love personally that makes Saprolings, and they can get pretty big if we're cluttering up the ground anyway. Demon Lord Belzenlock is a big flyer, and he has trample, and he gives us a little bit of card advantage, so thought we could test him out. And then Carnage Tyrant, there's 2 copies in the original sideboard. We already have access to 1 copy. Probably should be in the main deck, but we'll leave it in the sideboard for now. So we're ready to take it for a spin.